I'm here with Paul Vunak, who's from California, and he teaches Jeet Kune Do and Kali there. Paul, could you tell us how many years you've been studying the martial arts?
I started when I was 9. I'm 26 now, so about 17 years.
And what styles exactly do you teach?
Right now, currently, I'm teaching Jeet Kune Do, which is it's a composite of different styles. It's concepts and philosophies, and Kali, which is a broad spectrum of different styles. Panantukan, Pananjakman, Sikaran, and Savat is another style that I teach.
Who was your first instructor?
My very first instructor was a guy named Al, and this was at Tracy's Karate School back some 17 years ago.
So you started when you were fairly young, then?
Yeah, I was 9 years old when I started in this.
Okay, now I know that Jeet Kune Do is based on a style that Bruce Lee brought to us here in the United States. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, it started out as Wing Chun, which is a little bit more traditional of an art. It's a close quarter fighting art. And then what Bruce did was he modified it as he came to America. He found that the morphology of the individuals in America is a lot larger. So he adapted his style to that. So he added more kicking, a little bit more headbutting, a little bit more elbowing. Made it a little bit more vicious, I would say.
Now, we know that, or at least I think that his premier student was Dan Inosanto.
Yes. Dan's been with Bruce for 9 years, and they were very close. Yes.
And Dan is also your instructor.
Yes, I started with Dan in 1976, and I'm still with Dan now.
Okay, and he is what I guess we would consider the premier JKD instructor in the U.S.
Yes, he is. Dan's got more information on Jeet Kune Do than anyone. He was with Bruce throughout his whole change of structure from Wing Chun, then we called it Jun Fan, and then it turned to Jeet Kune Do. The word Jeet Kune Do means way of intercepting the hand and fist, and that was sort of a blend of what Dan and Bruce came up with over the years.
What does Kali mean?
Kali is an ancient art from the Philippines, and it actually comes from the word kalas, which is the knife, or the blade. And Kali is mainly a blade art. It's not the modern terminology like arnis or eskrima is more modern.
Can you also combine Wing Chun, which is another base style that Bruce Lee studied, in with these two arts, and you call it progressive fighting systems? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Progressive Fighting Systems is my corporation. This is basically a group of guys that I got together over the years, and we just came up with the name Progressive Fighting Systems. The arts that we teach are Jeet Kune Do and Kali, and Wing Chun is a modified version of Wing Chun. Bruce Lee changed it quite a bit.
Okay, we're going to see a little double stick work now, and you can give us a little background on that.
Yes, definitely. I'll be playing the congas, and my students will be doing Sinawali drills.
Okay, and lastly, is the music integral? Is the conga part of the martial art in this case?
Yeah, Kali uses the conga a lot. When you hit the conga, you'll hear an accent, and usually the subconscious reacts to that accent in a certain way, and it gets you to move, breaks the rhythm up a little bit, so you're not redundant in your movements. Okay, what we're going to do now is a little bit of double stick training. We call this Sinawali, and this is developed coordination of both right and left hand. Okay, you guys ready? Hello? And begin.
Paul, can you teach Jeet Kune Do to someone in just one weekend seminar?
Trying to teach Jeet Kune Do in a weekend seminar is like trying to teach Spanish in a weekend. It's very difficult. What you can do is you can give concepts, you can give the philosophies of Jeet Kune Do, and then they can take whatever art they currently study and use it to help that art. So that's more what we do.
Okay. It sounds like a difficult process, but certainly the weekend seminar is one way to come in contact with the art here on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's how we're trying to promote it. We're traveling around a lot and trying to get seminars going as much as possible. And when we do seminars, the whole concept of doing seminars is not to indoctrinate our style to another individual, but more or less just change certain structures that we feel are structural flaws, like putting the hand on the hip as opposed to keeping the hand up.
All right, what we call this is Spade Doggo, which is long and short, and this drill is mainly for line familiarization. You'll just see one side feeding here. Okay, you guys ready? Salute. And begin.
Now, in training, what we've seen of Jeet Kune Do, we might think that if we see Bruce Lee's movies, we might be able to find out more about Jeet Kune Do. Is that possible?
Not really. There's a difference between theatrical and functional Jeet Kune Do. I'd like to differentiate that. Theatrical Jeet Kune Do has a lot of high kicking, basically everything you saw in Bruce's movies. He did a lot of high kicks, a lot of spin kicks. He wanted to flash it up for the audience. Functional Jeet Kune Do is very basic. It involves more attribute training: speed, power, timing, coordination, spatial relationship, line familiarization. These are the things that are important as a fighter, and it's very basic stuff. It wouldn't come off too good in the camera. A straight blast and a headbutt wouldn't look good, but a spin kick does. So that's more theatrical JKD.
Okay, now for my education, the martial arts that we did see Bruce Lee do in some of his films were actually Jeet Kune Do at that time, or was that a later development in his life?
Well, when Bruce did Fists of Fury, actually, I believe that would have been considered Jun Fan, because of the time of his progression. But nothing that you will see in a movie is Jeet Kune Do. It's just theatrical. So he used his concepts of Jeet Kune Do and put them into the movies by flashing it up a little.